guys, it's Tyler from Kayak Fishing Australia here, and today I'll be running you through my Stealth Evolution 465 offshore fishing setup, and I'm going to walk you through some things that'll really help you out if you're looking to get into offshore kayaking. So the first thing you want to do is obviously put your PFD on. Normally you would zip it up, but I'm not at a risk of drowning in the grass, so I'll probably just leave it unzipped. The next thing you want to do is attach your paddle leash to your paddle, and in rough conditions this is very important. You don't want to be monkeying after you paddle in your kayak, it's just not a fun time, so it's safest just to put it on your paddle leash. Alrighty, now we've paddled out through the breakers and we're ready to start setting up our kayak for fishing. So the first thing we do is we organise our electronics like our radio and our fish finder. So what I've done is I just leave my electronic stuff in the back hatch, and that keeps it all nice and organised. And I do have to access them first, so it makes sense just to have them more easily accessible. So here I have my fish finder and my radio. And my radio just clips onto this little clip on my life jacket. What I've done is I've just run a snap swivel on a piece of fishing line, and that just pretty much stops it from running away from me, so to speak. Although these radios do float and they do flash to attract your attention, you really don't want to drop them off your kayak. It's just a pain, so it's best just to have them attached to you. And then where I put that is, I just put that in there, in the little pouch in my life jacket. Alrighty, and then after my VHF radio is secured, we then chuck the fish finder onto its little mounting plate up here. It's pretty easy, you just slot it right on, and then you just turn it on, check that everything's working fine. And then after all that is set up, then you do your radio check on your radio channel, which is pretty important. You need to check that that's working before you head out. Then we screw up our hatch again. You really don't want to forget that you've left it open. Otherwise you will be sinking, that's for sure. And then we enter the big hatch, which is pretty fun. This is where all the good stuff is. Alright, so first up, we have a fish bag. I don't need that, I don't catch fish, so we just leave it to the side there. We don't even need to take that on the trips, we just leave it. That does not need to be in there. Alright, and then we get our rods out. A lot of the times you'll notice is once you've come through the surf, your rods all get tangled up and stuff. And that just pretty much happens every time. You're not going to avoid it really. And I like to have my lures on my rods while they're in the hatch. It just makes it easier, I can just throw them out straight away when I start paddling. So then we do them one at a time, we don't put them together, otherwise you might drop one. So it's easiest just to do it one at a time. And what we do is we just chuck that in the rear facing rod holder. And then I have my rod leashes actually attached to the kayak. I know a lot of people run them just off the rods, but that's just another thing that's with your rods in the hatch, and it's just going to cause a lot of mess. So I prefer to keep it attached to the kayak. That's one rod down. Alright, now that my rods are all set up for trolling, we'll put them in the trolling rod holders, and then we'll paddle out to the reef or wherever we're heading. Alright, it's safest just to troll with two rods. One's even better, but two's probably the ideal. You wouldn't want to go three or any more than that, just because you just get tangles, especially if you hook up on a fish, you're just going to get tangles all day long. So two's a safe number, one's even better. Once we're out to the reef, we access our hatch bag, we throw out our drift chute, and I'll show you what I'm running in my hatch bag now. Alrighty, so I have 3 tackle boxes in my hatch bag, each for different things obviously. And I run a hatch bag just because it keeps all your tackle boxes all in the one spot, easy to access, and stops them from moving around the hatch too much. And there are parts where underneath the seat and up the front, if they slide up there, it's really hard to get them back, so it's safer just to slide them back in here, and you'll be safe. So the first box is my trolling box, and what this has is it's got some lures and stuff, but it also has some dead bait trolling rigs. I'll link you to a video in the description that shows you how to make dead bait trolling rigs. They're really effective on the bigger fish, so definitely have a look into those. The next is just my jig heads for a whole variety of soft plastic fishing. Normally I don't fish plastics and bait together, I'll either fish one or the other just because I like to carry as little gear as possible. And then here is my bait rigs. I've got heaps of pre-done up gang hook rigs, paternosters and stuff. So it's kind of unorganized, but they're all in there. It's all you need, so that's it for that. And then also in here I have my Camelback. It's fully drained at the moment. I got my drift chute. I have a video on how to make one if you want to look at that. I'll put a link in the description. And then I have a variety of leader sizes. Those ones are pretty light. And then in the front I also have a pair of pliers and a pair of scissors. And that just helps you with your rigging and unrigging and stuff like that. And when I run my scissors and pliers on the deck, I actually just put them in the footwell. I don't have them leashed, but it's safer to sort of have them loose, I think, because they're only cheap pliers. So it's safer to have them unleashed and just left in there rather than have like heaps of leashes floating around. Those two at the back are hard enough to manage by themselves. But I know a lot of people run their pliers and stuff stuck up in here, which is a pretty good idea. I might look into that later, but for now, I just leave them loose in the footwell. And then when you're coming back into shore, after hopefully you've catched some fish and used the fish bag over there that I wouldn't have used, you just do everything in reverse. You take your bait rigs off and put your trolling rigs back on, troll back to land base and put everything away, stow it in your hatch, and then come back through the surf. It's that easy. This has been Tyler from Kayak Fishing Australia. Hope this video has helped you out. If you enjoyed it, please like, comment and subscribe, and catch you later. Do it! Good!